My name is Tom, you're watching Sealed Shut, and it is time for a review of the brand new Pokemon card set, Paradox Rift. Before I'm going to go into today's review, I want to just thank you guys a little bit here, because we have reached 1,000 views on a video on this channel, which has never happened before, and because of that, I want to set a little goal here. Let's see if we can get 100 subscribers before the end of the year. Get me to 100 subscribers before the end of the year. Thank you. Paradox Rift is the 4th regular Pokemon card set of the year and the 6th total set of 2023. The end of a very, very stacked 2023 for Pokemon cards, where the beginning of Scarlet and Violet obviously happened with the 2nd set of this year, right after the absolute amazing Crown Zenith. Obviously, the changes of Scarlet and Violet have been shouted out by me numerous times, but probably the most notable change were obviously the gray borders that we're also going to get in English cards around this time, completely taken from the Japanese cards and other, obviously, you know, language sets as well outside of Japan. Scarlet and Violet base also completely took the Trainer Gallery format from the Trainer Gallery sets from 2022 and turned them into illustration rares and special illustration rares. Illustration rares being more in terms of the arts of the character cards from the Trainer Gallery, and the special illustration rares pretty much taking over the alternate art form. This was done pretty well in Scarlet and Violet, but I think it got a lot better due to the quantity of Paldea Evolved, the 2nd set right after Scarlet and Violet. Paldea Evolved also marks the first genuine set this year that could actually hold its price for many of the cards, and also to a certain extent to its sealed product as well, which we haven't seen with Scarlet and Violet base, and I think a lot of people were also scared of that not happening, but I think that is pretty much thrown out of the park here. This is definitely an era of Pokemon cards that can hold its value pretty easily. Obsidian Flames was a little bit more of a downwards, you could say, like trajectory for Pokemon cards, being not so much focused on the art styles and on the Pokemon chosen for that set, but mainly again on Charizard again, which, you know, there was a really good, cool Charizard card in there, a special illustration rare, but it was not really what you wanted to see. It was also the first set that was only taken from one Japanese set, which usually doesn't happen that much, and also made Obsidian Flames not a very big set in terms of quantity, but hey, it was still a good set. Obsidian Flames also showed that the format of illustration rares and special illustration rares was very hard to mess up on. If you just took a decent amount of illustration rares and special illustration rares, you are going to get a good set regardless, and I think Obsidian Flame showed that at least a little bit here. 151 continued the absolute amazing streak that Pokemon cards were in, obviously taking the Kanto region into the illustration rare, special illustration rare format, which obviously worked fantastically. Yes, it did not have the quantity again, but again, with only having one Japanese equivalent, which was just 151, I think Pokemon 151 did a really good job at least portraying the Kanto region in this format very well. That brings us to today, to Paradox Rift. Obviously, I think at this point we're getting to a point where the smaller things need to change. I made a video, I think somewhere in the beginning of this year, about the luxury problem that Pokemon cards had, where I pretty much stated that just because the artworks are so like standard now, like having such high-end artworks is like incredibly common, I think changing the smaller things was going to be really important. Technically, we do have a brand new introduction of smaller things, being Paradox Pokemon. Don't ask me about a genuine detailed description of what Paradox Pokemon are. I think Paradox Pokemon were introduced first in the game, and obviously not in the trading card game, pretty much making their first appearances here, but it is pretty nice to see those smaller things actually getting changed up. But what is Paradox actually? From what I understand, it isn't actually related to any Pokemon. I'm gonna connect Iron Valiant to, for example, either Gardevoir or Glade, but it technically doesn't have anything to do with those Pokemon, but they look like them, so please give me a break. Paradox Pokemon are pretty much either ancient or futuristic versions of already existing Pokemon. Again, that's still being rumors, not official. There's one interesting thing here that I think people are overlooking. Obviously, you're gonna talk about this, but I have not seen it being the #1 talking point. You can mix any Pokemon together now. Like, that is a genuine possibility. There might be some rules to Paradox that I just simply don't know, but it is absolutely fantastic what you can actually do with it. Obviously, looking at it like that, we obviously don't get any absurd, insane combination here. I think this is a pretty nice, calm introduction to Paradox Pokemon. But obviously, with the illustration rare art style, this pretty much has literally an unlimited ceiling. You can do so many things with this. Mantike is the first one I actually want to pick out here, having an absolute fantastic detailed environment and world, and obviously also the colors being very soothing, calm, but still absolutely speaking out, I think is a really nice one. The Joltik card marks the, I don't know how manyth cute card this year, but it is a very, very nice one. The Yveltal, obviously the rainbow circle around Yveltal and the flowers in the bottom, I think are absolutely fantastic details. What Pokemon do you think I'm going to talk about? Even Hangry Mode, yes, that's actually 100% true, makes an appearance in this set with an absolute fantastic detailed card that contrasts the colors of Hangry Mode Morpeko very, very well with just insane environmental detail. That's just a thing that I think Paradox Rift does fantastically with pretty much every single card. If you saw my last video, you know that my favorite one out of the bunch is the Loudred. The absolute fantastic pop art, very sharp corner type artwork speaks to me very well, and I think this is one of the best portrayal of a Pokemon. If you want to know what Loudred is about, this is the card that pretty much says it all, and I think this is absolutely fantastic artwork. I think those are my favorite illustration rares. There's a special illustration rares. Yes, there is a very nice variety of artworks, but easily my favorite one is still the Iron Valiant, like the mystery behind that card, having so many Paradox Pokemon on them that are not 100% revealed yet, but are obviously in terms of appearance are teasing what it could be around. I'm not 100% sure what the word is I'm searching for. It's not really banter, but it is like the sort of mystery that Pokemon is leaving. Hey, these are Paradox Pokemon that you might see in the future, with the Tyranitar making the most obvious appearance here. Yes, it's not Tyranitar, it's a Paradox version. It's probably gonna have a stupid name. Yeah, that's one of the downsides, the names of the Paradox Pokemon. I'm sure there is a reason for this, although I do have to admit, if you're gonna give it an actual Pokemon name, it might be incredibly confusing. I understand it and also don't. It's quite frustrating. Paradox Rift is very interesting because it is pretty much unlike any set that is released this year, and it's one of the best ones released this year, mainly just because of the Paradox aspect being not only introduced here, but also being the only one that is actually introduced in this set. I think it handles the small things absolutely fantastically. The illustration rares, again, are absolutely fantastic. They've been on point the entire year, but I think they are either as good as any other illustration rares, or maybe even better, at least more cards that speak to me personally. It really gets to a point where it's just preference. What Pokemon do you enjoy? What art style do you enjoy? And just pick your favorite set. And Paradox Rift is obviously no exception to this. Absolutely not. With a score from 0 to 100, I'm feeling an 88 on Paradox Rift. If you enjoyed this video, I would obviously appreciate a subscription or a like to the video. Please let me know what you thought of this video. And yeah, I hope to see you guys in the next video. Thank you for all the support lately. Genuinely, I'm just incredibly thankful for it. Thank you. And until next time, hopefully.